Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we are covering the hilarious action movie Hot Fuzz.
A true classic, a true cult classic, and it is outrageous, hysterical, and horror all at the same time.
Yes.
And this is one movie I really wanted to cover for quite a while. I kept begging, can we do it, can we do it, can we do it? So this year, we're finally doing it. It's one of several movies written by Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg, including Shaun of the Dead, which we also will cover, including Paul, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Baby Driver.
Yes.
And I love all of these movies. But this one here, I think, is my favorite because it was the first one I was introduced to Simon Pegg and Nick Frost in. And actually, our uncle, we went to visit one time, and he asked, have you ever seen, well, he didn't ask Rascal because she was little, but he asked me, have you ever seen Hot Fuzz? I'm like, no. Have you heard of it? No. And then he played it, and that was it. It was just like, okay, I got to see more. These guys are fantastic.
And I didn't see this movie for years. But before we get into that, be sure to like, subscribe, click notification buttons on future podcasts and multiple pause videos. Now getting back to that. Hadn't seen this movie for years. I remember maybe certain scenes that came on when I would walk in or out, but that said, never actually seen the movie. And we finally decided to put it in. I'm definitely old enough to watch it, and it was absolutely hilarious. There's a lot of dark humor and a lot of well-timed things and some puns, and they do like all these different styles of humor all at once, and they all fit in together perfectly.
So this is one of those wonderful UK movies done by Rogue Pictures and distributed by Universal. And when this came out, there was nothing like this. Absolutely nothing had been done like this. You'd had horror, or you had comedy, but you hadn't had it in this way where you have action and drama, suspense, and everything just perfectly done in it. And actually, one of the writers performing as one of the lead characters in the movie. And so I'm going to read the case quickly because I think the way that it's described by Us Weekly is perfect. Get ready for a gut-busting, outrageous comedy from the guys that created Shaun of the Dead. Nicholas Angel, played by Simon Pegg, is a big city cop who can't be stopped, but he's making everyone else in the force look bad. When he's reassigned to a small, quiet town, he struggles with this new, seemingly idyllic world and his bumbling partner, Nick Frost, played by Nick Frost. But their dull existence interrupted by several grisly and suspicious accidents, and the crime-fighting duo turn up the heat and hand out high-octane car chasing, gunfighting, big city justice, and its hilarious hit critics are calling outrageous and ferociously funny. And they did so many shout-outs to so many American movies in it, and they ended up being part of the movie. It was brilliant.
Yes. And I really like that you see this town and it looks like really nothing's wrong. You're kind of thinking the movie's just going to be him reacting to this really quiet, boring town and him being on edge because...
You think Wallace and Gromit when you see it.
Right. And you think this could be a whole movie just him being out of his element, and the whole time he's just trying to find something wrong so he has something to do. And the biggest thing they had in the beginning was that they had a bar, and he kept kicking people out left and right. And all of the patrons were underage kids.
Yeah.
And they were teenagers in there. And how old are you? Get out! And by the time he finished, the whole bar was empty. And it's like, why are you serving these people?
And they're like, oh, it's okay. They're a month or two shy of drinking age. And he's like, no.
Like, you're very lenient people.
And then the impression was given with all these people that they were dunders, they were idiots.
Yes.
And that all they did was take everything lightly and as a joke, and that they were really just goofy, silly people that had no sense. And that was the impression that was given, but you get halfway through the movie, and then you find out, oh, heck, this is not the case.
Right.
This is some pretty sinister people.
Right.
And then they also had... Timothy Dalton, which I was surprised at the time when I saw because he played one of the Bonds.
Yes.
Quite a while ago. And his role in here was brilliant. I'm sorry, his role in here was better than him playing Bond.
Oh my gosh. And all throughout the time before it gets to the first quote unquote accident happening, you see him with the interaction with everybody. Just as you said, they really, it looks like, seemingly play it straight of how this town is. And it's even a point where he was getting calls from different people that required assistance, and they were all like just the strangest puns. Like Bart Simpson wrote all the puns in here, and he was thinking somebody was pranking him, and it's wanted to do with like bodily functions or tongue-in-cheek words and things. And he said, "Oh, really? Give me a break!" And then you see that the call's real, and these poor people are actually named things they shouldn't be named, especially towards the end.
Kid, he asked, "What's your name, kid?" He said, "Aaron."
Yeah, I run errands. What? And everyone's some pun name there. You're like, no, that's really my name. It's a family name.
It's just brilliant. It is something that should be watched by every horror movie lover. No, it's not going to be in the tense of the jump scare and so forth, but there is enough blood and gore and violence in here to satisfy every horror movie fan.
Yes.
It really is. And the thing is, unfortunately for most of you who may want to see it throughout the movie, you're going to have to wait for it.
Yeah.
But when it comes up, you're going to be satisfied with what you get.
Right.
And the thing is when this is happening, you don't even have time to go, oh, or anything, because you're just so drawn in by the storyline and the mystery that's unfolding.
Right.
And we're not going to spoil it for you in case you haven't seen this. Yeah, there's a real huge mystery.
Right. And all the people on the force in this town, nothing to them, nothing happens. Everything's an accident. So if people are suddenly gone, or they say, oh, on an unfortunate circumstance, they just say, oh, they fell on something. They fell on a pitchfork. They fell on a rake. They fell on a pike. And it's like, how do you fall on these things? And every time they brush it off, and they go eat cake, they go have beer, they go karaoke, they all go through things that is like, are you still technically officers because you don't really do much? You kind of just come together and party. That's pretty much all they do. And it's absolutely hilarious. It's almost like watching a regular show for a time. And every time he keeps telling them something's happened to somebody and it's pretty gruesome looking, they still brush it off as if it was an accident. Everything's an accident, and they're convinced everything's an accident. And every time they're telling, how can something fall on someone's head, a stone castle fall on their head by accident, and this building's been there for thousands of years?
Now, one of the things toward the beginning of the movie, they let you know just how simple they expect you to understand the town is. They have a local paper. So once Angel gets there and they take a picture announcing his arrival and how he's this big city police officer who has all these awards and accolades, and then the paper's printed, and then every time you look at the paper, there's a misspelling or grammatical error, and they even mess up his name. They put Angle instead of Angel, and he's like, this really can't be happening. And they're just circling the paper, and it's the front page, and all these spelling errors, and they went ahead and printed it and sold it.
Right, it's like almost like now, it's like, do you have spell check? It's almost like now these people get away with this stuff. Now we see it so often.
But it's not that bad where the entire front page is nothing but errors.
Right, it's like,
and they don't care, they just did it.
Right.
And sold it.
It's like, who's writing the paper?
So, if you have seen Hot Fuzz, let us know in the comments below. I don't want to talk too much more about a lot of things because I don't want to spoil it for you. It's such an amazing experience to watch this movie along with Shaun of the Dead. If you haven't seen them, this is the perfect month to see them both. We have this as individual movies and as a double feature on Blu-ray. You can purchase this on Amazon for sure. Also, you may be able to see it on your local cable company. On demand, it may be available. As far as streaming, I'm not sure, but it's worth the investment. Go ahead and buy it. You're going to be so happy that you did purchase this.
Yes.
And if you have seen it, let me know, or let us know, I should say.
Right.
Did you see it when it originally came out, or did you see it on DVD like I did and we did later? Do you love the other movies written or co-written by Simon Pegg? as much as we do? Let us know in the comments.
Yes. And one more thing I definitely got to add, with Nick Frost's character playing the partner.
Yes.
And he's very oblivious to a lot of things. And like he loves a lot of action movies. And it seems like somehow of all the people in the town, he's really into the really violent action scenes because of the American movies. So all he does while part of the film is ask him, does he shoot somebody? Has he ever arrested anybody? Does a guy's head really blow up when they hit a certain part of it? And every day he's asking him all sorts of questions on how he shoots people. And it's like, what the heck are you even doing? It's like, why are you asking all these questions? Are you? Is he like he's like a 12-year-old asking about the action scenes in a book?
And his favorite movie is Bad Boys 2. And yes, they do show excerpts
Yes.
from the movie.
Yes.
Yes, it's referenced. Yes, they do some of the things in it. It's hilarious. It's wild. You gotta see it.
Yes. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for updates, weekly videos on your favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.